And I'm John.
Colin, you're sounding much better today.
I'm feeling a bit better. Feeling a
Aye,
bit better. Yeah, yeah, I'm getting there just in time for Christmas.
still not looking 100%, like fair enough. But
I didn't look any different to normal, let's be honest.
John, how are you doing?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Aye, decent, decent. It's been a lazy, well, I say lazy. It's not been that lazy a Sunday with my granddaughter over for a wee bit and a wee bit of shopping and that. So not as lazy as I would have liked, but no bad for a Sunday. Colin's just frozen on my screen. I don't know if you're still there, Colin, or if you're just your laptop's taking this moment to do its wee refresh as it sometimes does. There it goes. He'll be back in a second. John, there he is. Hiya, Colin.
Hey, everybody, all right?
Good to see you. Um, right, let's get the podcast underway. So 1-1 at Tannadice yesterday. I suppose the obvious place to start would be the starting lineup because it raised a few eyebrows when it came out. Colin, what were your thoughts on it when you saw the team?
So that's funny, right? Because just when I was waiting on you joining there, I thought, I'll have a wee look because I remember there was a bit of controversy and outrage at the time. And I looked at it and I thought, it's just because Megwa and Mitchell started, but O'Hara and Cadden were unavailable
Yep.
and Rocky's no here, right? So, like, we had no other option. So, I'm because of the rest of the other nine play every week.
Aye.
Like, so that was the two that created the noise. But really, what else were we meant to do? If they two never played, who was playing?
Mhm.
So I had no real issues with it actually.
I think, John, when we saw the team, it did show perhaps some of the limitations. So, and not so much necessarily the first team, although we had Mitchell and Megwa. I think, I think that was both of their first starts of the season. Although I'm not sure if Megwa started one already. In fact, Megwa has started. He started against Livingston. So Mitchell making his first start of the season. But then when we went to the bench, we were kind of relying on like Josh Campbell's been in and out of the team, Levitt, Hoylett, Yuan. Manny was on the bench. Like
It was.
there wasn't really a lot to pick from there, was there?
Was he? That's good. I've, um, I hadn't spotted it. He was on the bench. I think my attention was maybe taken by Lewis Gilly getting a
Yeah.
He was the only defender on the bench, though,
getting a
John.
wee spot on the
If you look
bench.
at it, because of the defence issues, with Rocky being away, Cadden's wife having or had the baby, and O'Hara being ill, we had to bring the laddie in on the bench. Like there's nobody else. That's it. Down to bare bones.
Gilly was good in the European night for the under 19s. What was that last week, week before?
Yep.
So it's probably worth a place on the bench if we were rounding up youngsters to make up the numbers. Uh, John, what did you think of the game?
The game was it was like it was like a game of two halves, but not in the way that you would expect. I think the first half Hibs were pretty good. Second half, I don't know. I thought the second half was a bit of a shit game of football in general. Like I don't know if the conditions played a part in that. Like in the first half, there was a few players that were falling over themselves and looked like they were pulling up with innocuous injuries, and I mischievously suggested that they were going down injured just with Christmas around the corner so they could get out of training duties and look forward to their turkey and all the trimmings. But no, the second half it just seemed to be like a lot of hoofball for both sides.
Colin, you were on BBC radio after the game, and
Yeah.
I think they said to you that the Preston they said it was a really good game for the neutral,
Aye.
and you disagreed, eh?
Disagreed. I was going to disagree. If as soon as you hit Alan Preston's name, I'm disagreeing. But how ridiculous is that? Like, there's actual people listening into that to get their information on a game, and I
Mhm.
know you're biased, but it wasn't like even Dundee United were good, and you're going, well, I'm not giving them any credit. We weren't good. It wasn't a good game. It's like both teams were shite,
Mhm.
especially in the second half. And you go, well, what fucking game is he? Why is he saying that? Like, why not just be? Why not just tell the truth and educate people about it? But um, aye, I thought the second half especially like it was
Mhm.
so dull.
It's becoming a bit of a trend, John, isn't it? Like Hibs are good for a half of football, and it's like I think more recently it's been the first half where we have been good. And I thought we were good in the first half. Like I didn't think we were like at any point looking like we were in danger, albeit we conceded the goal. Um, but it was a similar story against Rangers, similar story against Falkirk, where we were well on top in the game, but I suppose the difference being against Falkirk, we capitalised on it, but we had a huge drop off in the second half. Why do you think that is, John?
I've no idea. It's hard to try and understand these things. Like I think what you want to see is 90-minute performances week in, week out, but I think football throws up just too many intangible sort of strangenesses, for want of a better word. Like there's no right, like, because if you look at the first half, you've got a relatively good performance compared to the second. In the second half, I think we only started changing things about the 62nd minute. But the whole of the second half was, like I say, it was pretty much hoofball for both sides. But I don't know, like I don't know how to explain that. Like I don't think it's that Hibs purposely go out and go, well, we've had a good first half. That's it. Shift's over.
No,
We'll
no.
prematurely punch out.
My question was right. Is this becoming like one of these? Is there facts to back it up? Right? Are
No.
we continually coming out in the second half and being shite, or is it one of these sort of perceptions that are building into reality? And I don't know. Like it could be the case, because I've read a few things a day, and it's like they made changes and we never reacted to it. Whenever they're coming out demotivated and all that. And I'm thinking, how many games is it we've came out and went, that was really bad in the second half? Because actually, before that, we were talking about switching off before halftime.
Do you know what
So,
would be interesting? I think just because it's popped in my head, Colin, is one of the things we talked about last season was the number of goals that Dwight Gale scored in the second half that helped close out
mm,
games. And I
yeah,
wonder if the perception is influenced by the fact that we don't have a player like Dwight Gale this season that we had last season. So this season we're maybe not getting the goal that will kind of see the game out in the second half. And last season we did. And obviously last season we had the 17 game unbeaten run. We had the sort of relative high of the Aberdeen game where we came back to draw 3-3 and kind of kickstart that, and what we've had this season, as we talked about in the previous show, is, well, I think it's 6 draws, 6 defeats, and 6 wins this season. So it's just like average across the board. Like we're no particularly good, we're no particularly bad.
Colin, I've got the Sofa Score app. I think it's a good question to ask that, right? So the perception and the eye test would be
mhm,
the first half was good, second half was a lot worse, right? So first half, ball possession, so 67%, Hibs 33%, Dundee United, two big chances to zero in our favour, 11 shots, no saves to the goalkeeper, one save for their goalkeeper, five corners to their two, and 236 passes to their 115. In the second half, possession 50-50, so the
mhm.
game's a lot more even in terms of who's got the ball. 12 shots to their nine, so we've conceded six more shots, but we had one more shot ourselves. One save for the keeper to two saves to there, and only two corners and only 172 passes. So depending on what measure you're looking at, there is a
Yeah,
drop off. Like in
yeah.
most of them, or Dundee United have come into it. So um, I think it probably matches what the eyes are saying,
Hmm.
and the
For
game
that game,
definitely
aye.
aye for that game. Um, I'm just going to pick up a couple of comments on YouTube. So Kenny said, "Evening, guys. Evening, Kenny. This could be fun." Jack said, "Hello, everyone." And J Star said, "We're starting to look like a bottom six team. Aberdeen, St Mirren, and Dundee United far too close behind us. Bowie has to start scoring these chances. Nicky created loads. Crosses are far too many wasted." Jack said, "Yesterday's match was very poor at parts. The game in defence needs to do better." Kenny said, "Does that mob winning today turn the heat up for the Get Grey Out Brigade?" Well, we'll probably come on to that. Not so much about Hearts winning because we're not a Hearts podcast, and I fucking would prefer to pretend that they
You get
didn't
that wee
exist.
Venn diagram thing that
Aye,
Lancey put out, like,
aye.
control this, can he control that thing, or whatever it was.
Um, but I think life is easier if they're not doing as well, isn't it? Like for everybody. Ronnie said, "Hi bangers, good to see you. Good to see you too, Ronnie. Disappointing result yesterday. Could have and should have won that. We will. When will we play in both halves?" Tam said Mitchell and Meg were the only available options because we never deviate from 3-5-2. And Kenny said our squad lacks quality and depth. Four of those on the bench can go for me if we want to improve. So John, maybe that's something to pick up. Like, so you talked about the changes, like,
Mass clear out. That's what we need.
well, I mean, we're coming close to mass clear territory. But yesterday was an example of a game where the subs came on and didn't improve the team. I think it's fair to say that um, maybe no objectively, but subjectively, we seem to get worse with the substitutes. But is that a surprise, given that the subs were Josh Campbell in and out of the team all season, right? So not regularly getting game time. Junior Hoylett not regularly getting game time. Ellie Yuan not regularly getting game time, and Dylan Levitt who's not really getting game time, and Clegy as well, who also fits into that bracket. So should we be surprised that the subs never improved the team, given how limited their game time has been this season?
Probably not, but I think amongst them you've got, excuse me, individual circumstances. So I thought Josh Campbell did reasonably well when he came on. I thought he was a relative highlight out of the subs that were introduced. I think Hoylett has probably struggled more for form this season than Hibs have overall. Yuan's had his challenges, injuries, in and out of the team, like you suggested. I don't think yesterday was a game that suited Levitt because of the amount of time that the ball spent in the air. I remember there was one passage he played where it was sort of bobbling about on the edge of the box, and he was just kind of like watching it pinball about him at one point. Um, so I think it's hard to for each of those players to have made an impact in the game yesterday for a variety of reasons. It's not just that I don't think it's quite as simple to say, well, the subs that we brought on were shite and didn't do anything.
But you want them to come on and make some kind of impact, right? And they all can't, or maybe they could, right? But it's unlikely they all would. But none of them did, like nothing. Yeah,
But is that no the situation that we find ourselves in though, because of some of the things that I described, like Levitt not being able to get his foot on the ball because he doesn't levitate, pardon the pun, or the play on his name. Yuan, like he struggled against Rangers. Who else did we talk about? Hoylett's just Hoylett. I think someone suggested earlier in the season that he started like more like senior Hoylett than junior Hoylett. Like I don't know if old man time is catching up with him, but these are things that are impacting the squad overall. Like I completely agree. Like you want subs to come on and impact the game and change
and
it, but
there must have been some thinking though, right? Like Levitt's not been near the squad. And he's not even been on the bench, I don't think, in the last few weeks. And yet he's come on with half an hour to play to, like, I don't know, change the game. And like, so it's a bit unfair on him as well, I guess, from that point of view. Neil's there. Neil came on. Neil's been coming off the bench recently, so I would have thought, well, why? What? Neil never even got on yesterday. Maybe he's not allowed. I don't know what the minute situation is like, but he's on the bench, so why he's not there? Levitt's just came from nowhere and went, right, in you go. Right, change the game for us. And I think he did get on the ball a wee bit, but his quality on it wasn't great yesterday. As much as it was maybe going over his head at times, but I don't think he was great yesterday. Campbell struggled. Clegy had the chance to win it and didn't take it, and that's what it's for, right? That's his job. Like going all right, Keane have been sitting watching the Sky Sports, but he's got the chance, finish it, and then nobody can complain next week when you start. Like nobody's saying, like everybody's already wanting him in the team, but then when he gets his chance, he doesn't take it. Go take your fucking chance.
I think that's a fair point actually, because when we come on to talk about Martin Boyle's goal, like we've talked about him being a big game player and doing routine things, like that was kind of like a mixture of the two, like hitting an equaliser. So that kind of stakes his claim for starting next week.
Because Yuan and Hoylett, they got 5. What was it? What did they come on? I'm just checking. 84 minutes. Right. That's just like
so 10 minutes, when you include your injury time. Aye.
That was classic Sam Morrow territory, like throwing the player at the wheels, like try and change it.
Yeah.
The thing is, though, in that time that they were on, they did things that were like objectively bad, right? Like, in terms of like bad decision making or bad execution. I think this is where the frustration comes in, because when, like you were saying, Colin, when they get the chance to go and stake a claim, like I think it was, we were either in injury time or just about in injury time, and we get a break on the right hand side, and I think it's Hoylett and Yuan from memory, and it's a 2 yard pass that Hoylett plays, and he fucks it up.
Yep.
And the attack stops dead at that point.
Plays it behind him, I think.
Aye. And there's absolutely no, for me, there's no excuse for it. It wasn't like kind of the ball wasn't bobbling about. He wasn't under any pressure to make the pass. He had time to do it, and it's for a professional footballer that it's bread and butter stuff. Like I mean, that should be straightforward. And I think what we saw yesterday, we talked about this before on various episodes, Colin, that with a team performing at maybe 6 or 7 out of 10, and nobody other than Mitchell, I reckon, right. So Mitchell will come on to talk about his debut, but nobody really kind of lifted their head above a 6 or 7 out of 10 on Saturday. That's a problem for Gray, isn't it?
Aye, that's it. They're all kind of they all play at the same level, right? When we're good, you're going, whoa, loads of pick for man in the match today.
Aye.
When we're bad, there's nobody you're going apart from him or apart from the goalie. You know what I mean? It's like there's never a you want a couple of boys going, I'm changing the direction of this game today.
Mm.
And I'm not I'll single
Careful,
completely.
you're about to
I'm going to
start talking
single
about
complete.
leaders.
Mulligan and McGrath, I want more for they two. They play every week, they start every week. I want more for them, both of them.
Mm.
They should be the ones that are pulling us out of hole. They're in influential positions in the field. They're the ones that need to be driving us on and creating stuff and scoring stuff. And they're just no right. If when we're good, they're good. When we're bad, they're bad.
Mm.
And they need to be rising above that.
And I think, John, this is where we go. The problem with the subs coming on and no really making an impact is if they're replacing a player that's at a 6 and they come on and play at a 5, it doesn't help us, does it? Like, and I guess that's the frustration for Gray as well, is that he's not, like, when he's turning to the bench, he's either not got players that, and I guess, right, so there's injuries, there's players away at AFCON, so Chaiwa would have played probably if it was there. Rocky probably would have played, and Obita, I think, might have played at least some of the game.
Aye.
Given how
Hoyle
long,
wouldn't have come on if
aye,
that's the case, because he came on for Nadden, didn't
aye,
he?
given how long Naden played, because Naden's just back for injury as well. So I think there's like some mitigation for the performance in that, like the like it's a brand new defence we played with, and there's no necessarily that quality off the bench. But do you, do you think so? Kieran made the point. It's not a mass clear out; it's trimming the fat off.
Yeah.
So you're looking at some of those players, probably the ones on the bench, like Levitt out of contract, Hoyle out of contract, Cleege you would expect to stay, and then Campbell. Like I don't know, are you looking at Campbell's position in the squad being up for grabs come next season, John?
Aye, probably. Like, not through any desire of mine to see him leave or be replaced. Like, I think Campbell might be in a position at the moment where the players that he's got ahead of him, he's a valuable squad player, but he might struggle to get a start. But in interest of his own career, he might want to look elsewhere.
I think it's a funny one, John, because it's like when I sit and pick a team when it's my turn on the Friday preview, I often consider bringing him in. You know, for for this weekend, I think it's my turn to pick the team this week. I'll definitely be thinking, because he brings aerial battle, work rate, power. You know what I mean?
I wonder,
Not
like,
quality or anything like that, but he brings something to the team.
it's funny, like when you mention the word quality there, because I remember having a conversation. It was a while back. It was about Bashiri. I think he was out the team. I think he'd maybe been in the team a few weeks, and Hibs looked more solid at the time. But the criticism at the time was that he wasn't a particularly good footballer. And I was thinking to myself, and I said out loud, like, does he have to be a good footballer if his physical presence, if what he brings to the defence actually makes us better? And like we've got two new players who have come with quite big reputations, let's say. So Jamie McGrath came in, Aberdeen made a thing about the amount of money that he was getting paid while he was here. Josh Mulligan's came, and I think the chat about him was that he's, better than McCowan, potentially got a ceiling as
Yeah.
big, if not bigger than John McGinn. But then you have players like Josh Campbell who come in and do the job that they're asked to do. So I think, did we have a laugh about a player the other day? It was actually, I think it was Jamie McGrath about like the utility man. Like Josh Campbell's the utility man, can play anywhere, and he always puts in 100% effort whenever he plays. And I wonder if that's like, does Josh Campbell perhaps bring more to the side than he is given credit for? And players like Josh Mulligan, Jamie McGrath get more credit because they're the new guys. There's a recency bias about that.
I think so.
I think there's a case to be made for that. What I find with Josh Campbell, and I sort of described it like this on a post on Hibs last night, is he's either like contributing to goals, and his goals contribution's terrific. Like he came on against Falkirk, set up Bowie's for Hibs third. He's he's no bad for getting in amongst the goals. I think when he gets the ball, you either get a goal out of it or it's shite. Like there's no in between with him. Like he can pick up the ball and you think, all right, that's kind of picks up really good positions on the pitch. His awareness of where he should be in a game is brilliant. See the amount of time the ball goes to him and you go, we're losing the ball here. And we do. He'll try like a flick that's no on, or he'll lose control of it, or his first touch isn't good, or he makes a bad decision.
Who was
Or
it? Who was
or
it that he made the bad? He had the bad first touch against. Was it European game where we conceded?
They went
aye.
nil in.
Was that's an example.
Or the flip side is he gets it and 20 seconds later we're fucking celebrating a goal. Like there's no that in between them, and I find them like I really really like Josh Campbell, right? And there's probably no a player since like Lewis Stevenson I wanted to do really really well at Hibs. Kind of just like fucking he's come through the ranks. You always like to see one of your own players succeed at the club, and if he could go and I don't know, he just needs to be more consistent. But I don't know if he's ever going to get to that level. Like, and I think we've said before, like if you want the good for Josh Campbell, you have to put up with the bad. But I don't know if we can at the moment until the team's in a better place. So I don't know if he would be on my list of ones to look to upgrade when it comes to sort of refreshing the squad at the end of the season.
Oh, was the point I think Kieran said about trimming the fat. Was he talking about end of the season or was he talking about the January transfer window?
Oh, he never mentioned, but I just meant the end of the season would probably be more likely for Campbell given the length of contract that he's on.
I was thinking about, so the reason I question it is that where we are just now, we've got this situation where we've got an established first team, say, who aren't performing as well as we would like, as regularly as we'd like. So when they have that kind of off week or off couple of weeks, the guys that you look to bring in are the guys that aren't getting regular game time, who
Aye.
aren't able to perform at the level we want them to because they're not performing. So that seems like a bit of a catch-22 situation that you can't really get away from. You need something to invigorate the squad, and that might be where you try and trim the fat or look to move players on to replace them to rejuvenate the squad.
Agreed. Jay and Sandy said, even in all, 23 shots on goal, 4 on target, and 1 goal scored. Therein lies the problem. Colin, again, I'll go back to your Sports Sound appearance. We talked about the kind of lack of goals, and then you made the point we're second top scorers. It felt like we didn't create anything really, or not a lot yesterday, but 23 shots is a lot of shots to get in a game.
That's amazing numbers, like really when you think it. But as like I said, I think we're a contradiction here because it's like, and Mikey Stewart then made the point which I knew about. Like it wasn't new news to me, but we when we're good, we batter teams in the bottom six: Falkirk, Motherwell, Falkirk, St Mirren, and Livingston. Right, that's where all our goals. That's where a lot of our goals have came from. But we've scored 1 goal against Hearts, Rangers, Celtic this season. It was a penalty. We just don't create anything in those games. We don't create anything. We don't create enough. So we're a bit. I don't know. It's like I don't know if we set up differently in these games or if these teams were just better than the bottom 6 teams. You know, we're cutting that middle bit here where we're challenging for 4th, 5th, 6th place. And the bottom teams are a distance not as good. So I don't know. We seem to get more time space, but even when we were beating teams though, like we drew Falkirk. Remember the chances we missed away to Falkirk. We ended up drawing 2-2, and we should have been 4 up at half time. Like Bowie missing open goals and stuff, or the free headers, and then yesterday, like he just let that one go under his foot.
Aye.
I think it was because it was his right foot. I'm not giving him. I'm making an excuse for him because I don't agree with. It's a tap in, like stick your fucking foot at the right angle to. It's not like I'm asking you to curl it in for 20 yards or something. We missed like blatant open goals, like the one he missed against Falkirk at home as well. Before he got his goals,
header under the bar.
And we're like, why do we like these are so easy? Like these are the basic basic chances. But aye, 23 shots on goal. Fuck knows where that came from. Like, I mean, I'd need to watch that back to sit and count them because I'm doubting it with my eyes.
But I mean, there were plenty of shots, but they just. I mean, to only hit 4 on target out of 23 is fucking poor.
That's a poor
Again,
conversion, yeah.
and I guess this is where the
And that's
frustration
maybe how you
comes in.
forget about them, because you're just
Aye.
thinking, is that even a shot? Like, does that even count? Like,
Henders K. Peel said, "We are vanilla this season. Our usual sources of excitement have been flat, and it shows greatly mid-table all the way." Again, that's probably fair as well, John. Would you say, like, who's our creative outlet in the team? Like, where are the chances coming from? We've got Nadin, but where else?
this is also something asked on the radio, actually.
I'm trying. I'll try and fill the silence instead of a long pause while I think of it.
It should be easy, John. Who's your creative influence? Go.
I don't
If
know.
I can, there's
It
your
should be
answer.
easy,
Aye.
but I'm reluctant to add to the criticisms. But I was having a look there at the two games today. So Celtic, Aberdeen, the other tie that was taking place, and they were averaging something like a shot on target. It was like 30 odd shots, 10 on target. That was Celtic. And then you compare that with Falkirk, they had 1 in 5, which was about ours.
Mhm.
And Kilmarnock are obviously at the wrong end of the league, which is similar to us. I don't know. Like I think I'm trying to say, I think there's I think there can sometimes be too much emphasis, or we've maybe been bitten by it before, where you have a creative outlet. Last season, I think we had a number of goals from across the team, and I think it's probably symptomatic of that irregular form that we've got, that you don't have a creative outlet or you don't have that goal scorer because it's so infrequent across the team. We seem to be reasonably solid at the back, but midfield and strikers, it can't seem to get going.
See, when we're talking about creative outlet, though, I'm not thinking, when he said that, I wasn't thinking Bowie or Boyle, right? Which it is, because that's who scores all the goals. I was more thinking who's creating the chances. And if Nicky Cadden's now there swinging in crosses, which I see he got a bit of credit for, and I was speaking to my brother-in-law earlier, and he was like, I put loads of crosses, and I was like, but his brother used to get criticised for just banging them into an area, and that's what was happening yesterday.
Mhm.
Apart from the one that Bowie just fucking let it go under his foot. Um, who's creating your chances? Like, McGrath's sitting in the 10, right? That's the position he's playing in. A 10 is meant to be, well, right, you know what my thoughts on a 10 are. There's somebody
Aye.
kind of get in the position, in their own position, right, as a striker or a midfielder. However, we're playing a 10. A 10 is meant to be a creative guy, right? But how many assists, and this could be, I don't know, right? It could be completely wrong. How many assists has McGrath got this season? Because we're not, would they create anything in midfield, right? So I said, and I'm repeating what I said, but Barlaser will sit deep and ping big diagonals, right? And that's obviously what we've asked him to do, that quarterback thing or whatever. And when he gets pressed, it doesn't happen. Then you've got Mulligan. Mulligan doesn't create much. Mulligan just runs up and down, up and down all day, does that, brilliant, good work rate, puts it out. It's just like a sort of younger Josh Campbell, right? Runs about, loads of effort, loads of endeavour, drives with the ball now and again. Brilliant. Really good against the teams when we're good. Doesn't he like have loads of assists? Who is our guy that does that?
It's a good question. Jamie McGrath, again, go by Sofa score. Just looked it up as you were chatting, right? So played 18 games, 5 goals, 2 assists.
Two.
Aye, 2.
Aye.
4 big chances created. Because that's the other thing. Like you can
Aye.
your
Aye, I think
assists
that's good.
are dictated
Yeah.
by how many goals get scored, but the 4 big chances created is probably
That's better, aye. Mhm.
a better example of the value that they bring in that aspect. So 4 out of 18 games is not. It's like it's fucking even 1 every 5 or 1 every 5 games, more or less. Can just if you round up,
Mm.
which isn't really enough to for that position, I
And
think.
I'm singling him
But
out, but that's the position he's in, right? That's like
aye.
what else are we expecting from him in there then?
But then 23 shots. I mean, those chances have got to come from somewhere, eh? Like so,
Mm.
somebody's creating chances somewhere, or folk are picking up the ball, then a wee run and just firing a shot away themselves. Like, and so it's either crosses or the chances are coming through the middle. But it's hard to pinpoint what we do and how we create those chances. Um, Ronnie pointed out, poor second half at Falkirk and at Ibrox. Kieran, well, we covered that one. Joe Capaldi said put Cleege and Levitt on for the start against Hearts. So I didn't think Levitt did enough to get a start against Hearts. I would not, if it was me, would not be putting Levitt in there. Cleege though came on and like he caught the eye a wee bit at least on Saturday. Had one turn out in the touchline that was brilliant. I mean, he left the boy kind of looking ridiculous, but he also missed a one-on-one chance. Colin, would you be looking to start Cleege?
Potentially. I think so. I don't think I would drop Boyle though.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it'd be a change of formation to fit them all in, or if it would be Bowie getting dropped out, which is then a bit of a difference in sort of not having the big guy up there, which we seem to play base our game round for some reason, even though it doesn't work.
John, you've got a confused looking face. No offence, but what's the reason for the expression?
Well, just because you mentioned SofaScore, I thought we were going to have a wee nosy and see where the creativity is. And just as I scroll through the first page for assists, it's got Josh Campbell has got 3 assists. I'm assuming this is in all competitions. I can't pick out exactly like when it was. But then in 6th position, you've got Zach Mitchell with an assist. I'm assuming he got one yesterday for
He
a
did.
knock on
He flicked it on to Boyle for the goal.
and then so like it was more just to kind of like Cliche's got one, Hoylett, Nicky Cadden, Daniel Barlaser have got one, Mitchell's got one, Chris Cadden 2, Jamie McGrath 2. So that's kind of like it is across the team. So I think perhaps we still have that creativity across the team, but the inconsistency kind of dampens those figures. We might be better if those players were playing to the similar sort of levels as the team was last year. Appreciate obviously some of those players down here last season.
Ronnie said, when is Cleege going to get a start? So he's kind of touched on that. Ramey said, hi lads, why did he take Boyle off? He was our best player. Mitchell looked good though. So again, kind of talked about me a bit about Boyle there. Mitchell made his debut, John. How did you think he got on?
Well, he did really well. I was actually pleasantly surprised. And I remember there was a comment at the start about Gray refusing to deviate for 3-5-2. When I saw the team lineup to begin with, and I realised who was missing, I thought, Christ, I wonder if that is actually 4 at the back.
So that, yeah.
But I mean, obviously, like it was a 3-5-2. I thought Mitchell did really well. He's had a bit of a chance. I don't think he's put himself under any pressure. I don't remember any misplaced passes or any brain farts like what was his name? Will Fish at Tynecastle. That was the wee bit of concern because he's like I'd started having a wee bit of a laugh with Stevie Bell, who's joined us on the phone in and did a preview show the other week there about disappointed parents. And I've started using Tony and Carmela Soprano to indicate the happy or the unhappy parents. So they were delighted yesterday that he got his start and he did well. Like I actually wouldn't have any concerns about him starting again if Ahora continues to be unwell or injured or otherwise unavailable.
Colin, what were your thoughts on Mitchell's performance?
I thought he looked decent. Aye, one game, but actually for the point there, like O'Hora, he got forward a bit more maybe than O'Hora, which maybe brings more to that position. You know, we've spoke about Lewis Miller not being there, doing that underlapping role. I think O'Hara maybe tried it a couple of times, but he's a bit out of his comfort zone doing it. So maybe he's a better option there. It's funny though because I've been reading the message boards on that today, and folk are like, "Can play right wing back at the weekend?" I'm like, "He's had a good game in his position. Let's play him out of position now
Aye,
in a derby."
there is a bit of that at Hibs, way. Like we do, and it's Gray has talked about it with the recruitment policy, getting players that can play in more than one position and have that versatility. But I think I'd like to see us revisit that policy and try to get a team of folk who are like experts in
Good at him. Aye.
the role that they do, rather than the jack of all trade approach. Because I think the players and the team suffer when you start moving folk about regularly into different positions. I mean, even if you take Kieran Bowie, like we've signed Bowie to play him as a number 9. And he's not played as a number 9 in his career. Kind of there's the chat for Gray has been about what's his first season as a number 9. Bowie's talked about how he's still learning the ropes, and you go, it might work out in the end, but surely you sign a player because you've seen what they can do in the role that they're doing. So bring them into this similar because you know they're good at it. But
Do you think this is Arsene Wenger's fault because he took Thierry Henry, who was a wide player, and played him up front, and he scored a load of goals because he was fast? And everyone thinks, oh, fuck, yes, let's keep doing
you
that.
can, do you know what? It has worked in the past though, because you look at Tannadice. Tannadice was a centre half, and we signed him to play number 6.
and
Right,
him saying, get the fuck out of defence, move
aye,
forward
you move
when you
forward,
can't
and
create
and he
any
was a
bother.
revelation there because like it
But
worked. So
that was
it's
Jack as well, once
yeah,
upon a time.
yeah. So you've got to. I mean, there is a place for it. It's not like you should never do it, but I'm just not convinced with that approach personally, right? J Star said Cleary and Boyle need to be front two just now. Bowie needs bench till he learns how to score. And Kieran said thought Levitt and Campbell done nothing to stake a claim. When the team's struggling and your bench aren't taking their opportunity, you're in trouble. Ronnie says to be fair, Levitt has been ill. J Star said Levitt's so poor.
I
Kieran's
heard from a reliable
uh-huh.
source, from one of the down the slope listeners, that Levitt had surgery recently. Any of you guys know anything about that?
No, don't know.
Not as recently as like last week, but I wonder if that's the reason for him being at the team, not getting as much game time.
UK plays said Mulligan was decent, great engine, ran about and tackled. The players around him were poor. Bowie was poor. First touch was so non-existent. Bowie needs subbed, not Boyle. Sandy said the Derby, a one-off contest that in over 60 years of watching, nobody's going to predict. Bragging rights the prize. We shall prevail. Kieran said Hearts are the top for set pieces, so we need a team put out for that. So that Campbell might be in for that. He just needs to show a bit more composure. And J Star says excuses can't keep happening. Only team not to score against Rangers in the league. Haven't beaten anyone above us with blows, bleeds, and waste chances. Right, I'm going to go to Twitter in just a wee moment to get some of the talking points for that. But before I do, and I kind of wee segue in because most of the talking points on Twitter are around this topic. Right, Rob Morris, evening all. Still fully behind Gray, but I wish he'd stop using the full complement of subs. Thinks this breaks the fluency of the team. So break that into two parts. Colin, the number of subs that we make is virtually always, but not quite literally always, the 5 subs that we make.
Yeah.
Is it too many? Is it subs for sub 6?
I would argue that the two. So there was 2 late ones. I think the late ones are always a wee bit of a token gesture. Like 83 and 84 yesterday. I don't think it's always that the case, and I'm one that complains about the predicted 60-minute one.
Yeah.
I think some of the problem with the subs are they're just like for like. It's not changing anything other than the person that's in the position. You know what I mean? It's not like we're saying we've got to bring somebody on and we've got to go with, I don't know, like we'll go with the 2 10s, or we're going 4 at the back with 1 striker, and we're got to, the midfield will be a 3 and a 2 or something. You know what I mean? We're not changing anything. We're just going, you're off and you're on. It's just like a straight swap, and I think that's why we don't really see that much. So if the first guy's not had any impact, the second guy comes on and he's in the same
I do the
positions,
same
and
thing.
it's the same stuff.
Aye. Green Tea said folk moaning about Boyle being sub, but surely as he'd been ill, he might not have been able to complete 90 minutes. And that's a fair point as well, because obviously couldn't play the
It's
full
funny
game
folk are
against
moaning about that, because normally they're
Rangers.
moaning that Boyle got too many minutes because he's the manager spalling on
that. Okay, and then the second part for Rob Morris, still behind Gray. So, John, I'll ask you for your thoughts on David Gray and the job he's doing at the minute.
He will learn from this experience. It's currently like I don't know. He came through a really difficult opening period as Hibs manager, and he had a really strong finish to his opening season. So that adversity that he would have learned from last season, he'll be able to employ those skills and experience that he's learned, and that'll set him in good stead for the future.
Okay, Colin?
Sorry, just came it just as we got asked. And the question is, what job David Gray doing?
Aye, what are your thoughts on the job that he's doing?
I think he needs some fresh ideas, whether it comes from a new voice in his coaching staff or something. I think we're trying the same thing over and over, and nothing's changing. Oh, as I say, like even the subs, we're just bringing on a new body in the same position with no different idea. I'd like to see something different, and I'm not calling for like when folk called for change. I think I said this last week. When folk called for change, it's like we need a new manager. I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying we need to try something else. Like we've got a 3-5-2, and the squad's kind of built for a 3-5-2,
Aye.
which is maybe limiting that. But I think we need to try. I'd like to see us trying something different, tactically, formationally.
Aye.
Do you
It's,
think trimming the fat that we talked about earlier and like replacing that, do you think that would benefit or make a difference in trying to do something differently?
Well, you could bring in players that we could suit. Like we'll go four at the back of the day. Who are we playing? Or we're playing Rangers. We need to go four at the back with five in midfield and one up top rather than 3-5-2. Everybody knows we're playing 3-5-2. Everybody goes right. Just keep the Caddens pinned back. And you're fucked. Right, we're not going to create
Didn't
nothing.
let Barlaser have the ball.
Aye. And it's dead easy. Like as much as they made a big deal about it, with Motherwell, it's like this Route One stuff, eh? Like just keep the ball in hand. Like what used to do it with Dan McGregor, you know what I mean? It's no fucking rocket science. But we had no way of changing that because it was like, well, what do? We just put somebody else in Barlas's position in. Like it's just we can't change anything. So maybe what we need is something a bit more flexibility around that, where we can go with two fullbacks rather than two wing backs.
Do you think Gray's got a legitimate complaint that he was maybe not set up for success necessarily with the transfer activity in the summer? Like specifically, we sold Lewis Miller without a replacement coming in, and we didn't get somebody in. Like we needed another forward. We knew it. Gray spoke about it. This wasn't like like the fans' perception that we needed another forward, and Gray was very vocal, very clear that he needed another forward in. We tried to get Dykes on transfer deadline day, and as happened with McCowan in the window before, we were effectively left up in the dicks, weren't we? Like as nothing happened. So, do you think Gray's got like some mitigation there? The people who are meant to support him with the squad have left him with a squad that isn't really fit for that flexibility that you're talking about there, Colin.
Sorry, I thought you were going to ask him. That's what threw me
So,
there.
but either of you.
I think. I don't know. So I was just going to say that, right? And it's probably one for extra time. I see John's just sent a message to us. And that who's in charge of that? Like, because is it who's
Okay,
dictating?
isn't he?
Well,
Well,
aye.
he oversees it all. Like ultimately,
Yeah.
he's responsible for it.
He is. But then, like, how much says the manager got? Like, and I seen a post of yours. That's where it was going with it on. I think it was Hibs.net, maybe a week or two ago, and you were like that. You think, well, the coach should just get. There's the fucking players. Make them better. Make them a team. Whereas I think we've got a bit of a hybrid here, where we've got
Aye.
the recruitment guys signing Manny and fucking rattle Salinger, and others, right?
Chaiwa,
Cleege, all them, right?
Mitchell.
And then you've got the ones that maybe David Gray's seen play against us and go, I want to sign Mulligan next season. Or get McGrath. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, it should be more cohesive than that. Or one way or the other. Who's in charge of it? Is it the manager in charge of it? Or is it the recruitment team who spend 100% of their time recruiting folk that are in charge of it? But I think so. I don't know who's built that idea of we're playing 3-5-2. Fucking come what may. So just get me wing backs and then get me wingers. Then want wingers because we're not playing with wingers, right? We're playing wing backs. And I didn't need full backs because I need somebody that can do both. And that's where we've ended up with a squad that's like loaded with midfielders again. Which how many times when we've had our mass clearance and over the last 5-6 years I've been doing this, it's like. It's always the midfield's always swamped with bodies. We just keep signing centre midfielders.
If there's anything Hibs love more than sacking a manager every 18 months, it's midfielders.
Aye, it's mental, eh? Like how many centre mids we sign.
Well, let's maybe want to pick up an extra time. I know on the Patreon, Tam had suggested a topic around that sort of 3-5-2 flexibility or inflexibility. So I think the two probably go hand in hand. Yeah. So I think we'll cover that when we record extra time tomorrow. And if you want to listen to that, either click the wee join button on YouTube and join the channel, you'll get it there, or head to Patreon and you'll get it as a subscriber. Axel F said Gray's taken us backwards. The substitution pylon in the second half proved he's not got a clue what he's doing. Gordy said all a bit predictable and boring, really. Bandylegs said too wasteful a game, but not worried about the games coming up. Think I'm in the minority, thinking it would be all right against Hearts in the 3 games after that. We can all see what the squad needs. Gray will also be aware, so I'm confident enough going into the second half of the season. Anything stand out there for you, John? The boring and predictable bit? Have we become boring and predictable?
I don't know. It's like folk will probably be fed up with me and my eternal optimism, or trying to find the silver lining in what seems to be a very cloudy outlook. Um, like, are we predictable and boring because we're not experiencing the highs that we had last season? Or is it a bit more? Are we just a wee bit average this season, and it feels worse than it actually is because we're not experiencing the highs of last season?
Mhm.
I don't really know the answer exactly. I mean, it's clear. We are a mid-table side where things stand. We've not won more games than we've lost or drawn. Like, we're very very mid-table and average, but that kind of suggests that there are a few changes that needs to be made, or improvements need to be made, as Collins mentioned previously. And I think that may come from personnel, because the personnel that we have that we're looking to bring in, they're not performing because they've not been in the squad, but they didn't get in the squad because they're not performing.
Mm-hmm.
So something that seems to me just a kind of wee bit untenable. Something needs to change there.
And I think the first point that was made there was one about subs not having an impact or something. Last year they did, remember? Right? And we're not doing anything different there other than when the subs came on. Cadden would pick Dwight Gaylett and he'd one in. Or, or Hylett would come on and do something, do a good trick or score a good goal. And they're not doing that this year. So it's the same. Right, with my eyes, I'm thinking, are the subs any different other than in terms of
other than personnel, like who they actually are?
What they're delivering is what's different. What they're doing, they're not coming on scoring a goal. They're not coming on settling the game or winning the game or changing the game. But we're still making the same. We still made the same subs at similar times in games last season in that 17 run than we are now. It's just now they're not coming on and we're going, they don't fuck all when they came on. Why is he making all these subs? Whereas last year we're going, fucking, what a genius. Get the subs he made. Dwight Gill came on and scored again, took the game away for them. And it's just, it's not any different. What he's done's not any different.
Aye, I think you're right there. Ronnie, Danny, and Green Tea all point out that Levitt had his appendix removed.
Aye, that's what I was going to say. That was months ago, though, is it not?
I don't know.
I don't know how long that takes to recover for, by the way, but I think that was like September or something when he first went out of the team.
It's just like a contents page, though, isn't it? So I think what the big deal is. Kieran said, I was absolutely bored stiff watching it. Mulligan and Barlaser weren't great, but Levitt and Campbell showing why they aren't starting. They were dreadful when they came on. Been bored watching us most of the season. Ewan and Hoylett are supposed to be impact subs. Hilarious. Dylan Starsky said Cleege needs to start against Hearts and it's time to rest Bowie. Thought Mitchell was very good today as well. Things are just not clicking at the minute and we seem devoid of ideas. See the point that Dylan makes about things not clicking. And we had it last season where we had the big long run where we were shite and then things clicked. And we didn't actually do that much different from the start of the season to the end of the season when we were on a good run, other than things clicking, like in inverted commas, because I didn't actually know how you define that. John, are you seeing enough from our performances to suggest that we're not a million miles off, and if things do click, we'll be all right?
Sometimes, like first half yesterday, done well. Second half a bit shit. Rangers, I think I tried to make the point that we were in the game right up until the whistle, that we just ran out of time. But I don't know how long that can continue for.
I think we're a bit away
Because
from
it is frustrating. Like, and I don't know. Like, I still think that this maybe comes back to the personnel aspect of it, and what Colin suggested there. Like, the players that we're bringing on, like, they're no impact in the game. Last season it was happening, but also last season Like I remember, I'm sure I made a point about talking about it when Ross County took the lead, and like David Gray had 87 minutes to save his job,
Mm.
and then Dwight
Yep.
Bale scored just before
Yeah.
half time. So
Mhm.
like maybe the template for Hibs to do well is there, but we maybe need to tweak this personnel a wee bit.
I just think there's a difference in the like not the bodies as such, like because well there is a bit of change. Mulligan, McGrath, and others being in the team now, but that intensity or whatever you want to call it of like chasing players down in the press and the effort and that. Like we've still got Hanley putting blocks in. Hanley had a good game yesterday, by the
Yes,
way, as did
that's yeah.
Challenger, right, and Mitchell. But so he's putting blocks in, sticking his body on the line. Last year they were all doing it, and they were all high fiving each other, celebrating fucking throw-ins and stuff. We're not seeing any of that this year. Like they've not got that. And I watched that game the day at lunchtime, and Hearts are doing that right now, and they're not doing anything really that special apart from working hard. But that's what you need in this league.
Mhm.
Fucking work hard and work for each
Yeah,
other.
you need that intensity, don't you? Like to
Aye.
see. I think we've
And it
seen it.
pays off, and that's what we've not got as much this year.
I think we've seen the work rate in the first half of games. Like I think that's what stood out. Like against Rangers, we were first to the ball more often than not. We were picking up the second balls, we were nipping in. First half felt yesterday. I thought the same thing. Like I thought we looked like we were hungrier than Dundee United for it concede a shite goal, but we still managed to kind of fight back and find our way back into the game for that. But it just drops off. We kind of do it over the 90 minutes. But I totally agree with you. But that sort of camaraderie and the team spirit bit is completely lacking from what we saw last season. It's funny. Ramey's made the point on YouTube. He says this isn't as daft as it sounds. Last season Hibs was shit. Jordan Smith gets picked, then Hibs go good. This season Hibs start good. Smith gets dropped. Hibs go shit. With Smith in the team, there seems more passion and fist pumps. So he's actually Ramey's made that point before we've come on to this bit of conversation. I think it's an interesting one. I thought
Can he play right wing back?
well, that's when he's there on the bench, like he should still be able to influence things in the dressing room. And I thought maybe Newell coming back into the team would have an impact on that sort of thing as well, because he's the club captain. From what I understand, for speaking to people, he's a really really exceptional captain as well. Um, but we haven't seen it yet.
Do you think, or how much do you think it plays into Hibs in different form that we've just never been particularly shit this season? Whereas last season we had shit, we had something that galvanised the team.
Aye,
Whereas the start of this season was the kind of highs of Europe.
aye,
We got a win, we had a draw, blah blah
Mhm.
blah. Like, have we just got anything there to sort of rally around?
aye.
I think that's a
That's a
really
good
good
shout.
point. Aye.
Yeah.
What is it they say to the best way to motivate a team is you either get behind a common goal or a common enemy. And we've maybe not got either at the moment. So the common goal might be in third place, but that probably feels like it's out of reach now. So do we need to find a common enemy? And again, like it is that wee bit, but having like a proper backs to the wall level of adversity to bounce
Mm.
back from. And we
I
didn't really
think,
want that. I guess like we want to avoid being in turmoil, but
Look at St Mirren. St Mirren are moaning like fuck about refereeing decisions going against them, and they've not won a cup. It's almost like they've got like a
aye.
something to fight against. I mean, they're counting decisions that were correct that went against them to back that point up. But it's like we've not got anything. We're just like lumbering. Like as you said, John, I don't think it's 6-6-6. I think it's on like 5-7, 6-7-5 or something. I think
oh,
draws.
apologies.
I think we've got more draws. I was checking that last night.
Do you know,
Uh,
I wonder if I maybe mistook that yesterday, and started getting 666 in my head after
if we'd
Dundee United
lost,
went ahead.
I think you did because I think it's more draws than either.
Mm.
But yeah, but it's so even across the board, totally inconsistent, and it's never a run off. It's not like 6 losses in a row, even
It's
where
like one of each.
aye. Oh, well, we're needing a fucking win. Like I think we're like 1-5 or something without. We've no won for 3 or 4 games now.
Aye.
So obviously that's due. But that's the cycle, and I think when you get that either way a run, that's where you can start either get the confidence fit like we did last year when that was almost league challenging form over
Mhm.
that period that we were the 17 run, um, or when before that when we were relegation on a relegation run and we had that to so you had that fight because you were challenging for something or you had that fight because you were at the lowest you could go. This year we're just like plodding for game to game, draw, win, loss, draw, win, loss.
Aye, and we get the good result with a good performance, kind of like 3-0 against
Aye.
Falkirk. Everyone's like, oh, that's all right. The pressure's off a wee bit.
Aye.
It's a really good point, John. I like that, and I think the way that you've expanded it's good, Colin. I hadn't really sort of given consideration to that, but I think there's a lot of merit in that line of
Any
thinking.
momentum,
Aye.
either way, basically.
Rob said, was there not a clear the air talk from Newell last year that preceded our good run? Need more of that. Maybe get Chick Charnley in to shout it, scare them into playing well. Of course, they cancelled the Christmas night out and everything last year, didn't they? Joe noted that.
Get Chick's mate in with the machete. Was it him?
It was Chick with the machete. I'm sure it chased them. WTO rules said Mitchell was excellent, a threat up front too. I wish we'd take a punt on a poacher striker. Boyle and Bowie get too involved in the build-up to be in a position to put the ball in the net. I think that's an issue as well, isn't it? Like our front men are never really in front of goal when they should be. Neil Waters said again, a so nearly performance, dominate then concede a poor goal, equalise and dominate. Need a proven striker to take the chances we create. Mitchell and Meg were good for what little match time they had. Hanley again solid, small margins costing us all over the pitch just now. Jim said Gray has us regressing. He's had a crazy amount of money in transfers, which has made us worse. £1 million players warming a bench. Subs make us worse. What does team work on training when it comes to attacking? They once again don't look like they have a clue what they're doing. Mark says too many draws this season. James says I love Martin Boyle, but no, with £1 million plus striker on the bench who will with service score many, starting to think no to Sir David Gray. Belden Lasker says badly need a striker who can actually score. Joe says Nicky Cadden must be sick of putting pinpoint crosses into the box. Both our strikers miss time after time. Any of those go in, it's a different game. Kev said subs coming on makes us worse. Mitchell only positive today, but wouldn't be surprised if he didn't start against them. And David said, according to my calculations, we had the exact same amount of points after 18 games last season when we were going through our bad patch. And that's an interesting point as well, then, because it doesn't feel anywhere near as bad as last season, but we were in, like after 18 games, we were still very much like, are we going to be in a relegation battle? And, mind you, the tide had started to turn by December, didn't it?
Run in December, though, didn't we? December was the start,
yeah. But it does feel a very different season for last year, doesn't it, John?
Aye, but I've got a remedy for that, and it's for Block 7 to turn that banner back round.
That's what we need. The campaign starts here.
And all the problems go away.
DJ 1875 said, sad to say, looking like our manager has run out of ideas or the players just not getting the game plan. For me, go get the Motherwell manager, whatever it costs. Motherwell no just no scoring goals at all. They're not like something like 3 or 4 nils in the spin or something.
Scored less than us, aye.
Scott Craig said we're in a group of teams battling for 5th to 9th at the moment and don't really look like we'll do any better. Hopefully freshen things up in January, otherwise more like today's second half we will be bottom 6. And Leah said, just home and honestly not sure where to start, just don't seem to be clicking. We have great players, so is it Gray that's a problem or the players? Game of two halves, but we're dropping like a stone points wise. Things need to change. What that is, I'm not sure. John, are the players needing to give David Gray more? Like his,
yep.
Straightforward, yes. Yeah. What's your logic there?
The one I was thinking of that we've not really touched on is Colin touched on it with the amount of running that he does. But when he finds himself in those advanced attacking positions, there was at least one opportunity, I think, in the second half yesterday. He's done all the hard work, like all the hard running to get himself in the position, and he's also played a really slack pass. And they're the things that can make the big difference.
Yeah.
By playing, like you mentioned that, I think with Hoylett and Yuan, like play the ball into space, something for them to run on, make it like put yourself in a position where you can keep that momentum going during the game, and put the pressure on, and we underhit or have our passes intercepted. So it's things like that. Like McGrath's got a good record so far, but is that a good record? Like it might be a good record for him, but it's a good record for the team. Does he need to have less accolades? Does he need to have less in the net, McGrath, and more for his teammates? And it's the same with others around him. Like I think we mentioned Bowie with I think is it 2 misses he's had yesterday? There was the one that was like the sort of sitter in front of goal.
I put one past the post.
I actually thought it was a
I was,
reasonable effort from him
I
because it
agree.
was
I agree.
off balance and kind of had to generate the power, like
Yeah.
spinning on it. But I think Boyle's had one as well. I think he's put himself in the position. I don't know if it was just a fine margin, but the other fine margins that make the difference between 1 point or 3 points.
Right, we're almost out of time, so just get the last couple of uh, tweets in, and apologies, and we're not even close to getting through them all. So sorry if you have sent one in and we've not got to it. It's no been on purpose. Mark said Mitchell and Hanley, the only positives today were a boring watch, absolutely no flair. Our second half performance will get football banned. Some of these guys are nowhere near good enough for Hibs. Luke said there's no cohesion in the attack. No one is on the same wavelength. We're missing Kukrevich badly for his hold up and link up. Nicky Cadden's best game all season. The subs turned for the worse too. Kaiser Soze said, doesn't matter what fans say about Gray, no way Hibs sack him. They're reaping what they sowed, not adequately replacing Chiantis or Gale. And now we're the definition of a mid-table team, just where we are, fact. Gordon said it's just so frustrating. Decent squad, but it's not clicking. Very little to get out my season ticket seat for so far. Might squeak top six when we should be challenging for the title, in my opinion. Can David Gray sort it? I'm not sure. Let's see what January brings. And Russell said the usual plenty of possession and chances, but can't score. I go, that's pretty fair, eh? There definitely feels like there's a wee bit of a funk around the team at the minute, eh? Like there's not a lot to be positive about it. That's probably reflected that it's been a few weeks since we had that win against Falkirk, and we've not had the big performance, the big win in the league yet this season. Obviously, we have the chance to look at that next weekend when we get the derby. Colin, how would you be approaching that game if you're David Gray?
How would I be approaching it? I think we need to just have the players actually just running about, like in their faces. That's what they're going to be doing. I watched them today. That's their biggest strength. We just need to try and outdo that, because then chances come from the back of it. You see it. It's like they're not doing anything. They're not creating anything. They're just like causing havoc and
Aye, it's
creating
chaos, isn't
panic.
it?
Aye.
Aye.
Do you think McInnes will send Hearts out to do that at Easter Road, or do you think he'll revert to type where he just stifles the game and tries to sneak one goal?
But that's what we do now in games, in these big games. We're the stifler. Like that's how we're not creating anything in the big games, like the big games, Rangers, Celtic, Hearts, that we keep getting thrown around. That's the big games for me. Like I know folk chuck in other teams to try and back the point up, but those three games, we've scored one goal. It was a penalty. We created no very much other than that. We're the team that sit back, and that's why I don't want us to be doing that, because we're better when we're not doing that. But yet
Aye.
we seem to turn up in the games and try and do that. So I think McInnes will watch your previous games and go, didn't he fucking sit in?
I think he'd be mental. I think they'll play like they did today, and it's all about energy and work rate, and it's working for them, and they've got enough quality in the team that when things break their way, they're taking their chances, and their defenders are chucking their bodies on the line, and all the other cliches that come with it. But
It was actually it was like us last season. I was
aye,
watching it today. The breaks for the an opposition corner and they're up the pitch and they're getting shot away. It was like us last year when we had pace in the team, or we felt like we had pace in the team, and we were getting forward, and
aye.
we were hitting teams on the break like that, and it was a wee bit like watching us last season.
John, we'll do a preview show before it anyway. But what were your thoughts? How would you set up?
My gut instinct was when you were asking Colin about it was my words that went through my head were physical as fuck. So if they've got good players on their side, fuck it, maim them, cripple them, get them out. I'm joking, but be physical, be
Aye.
physical. Stop them. Do you know, I didn't mean like stop them playing, but whatever. And this is why I asked the question about how you think McInnes will line up, because I think they've got what, a 6 point lead, albeit Celtic have got a game in hand at the top of the league. Like I don't think anyone's been top of the league at Christmas in Scotland for umpteen years. It was quoted recently. I can't remember
I
the
think
number of years it's
Aberdeen and
been.
Hearts have maybe done it in the last 40 years, and both fell away by the end of the season.
Aye, so I wonder, like, is McInnes going to be bold about it and come to Easter Road to win, or is he going to do what he done when he was Aberdeen manager, where he tried to stifle the game? And how does that influence how we're going to play? And I don't know if we'll. I don't know. I think David Gray may have to be. like sort of responsive to that. Like it might just be a case of I don't know, like it's hard because it's like the derby. You didn't want to go right. Well, we're going to wait and see how they turn up and how they sort of shape up and how they're approaching the game. You want to go out and try and win the game with whatever qualities that is, whether it's physical, whether it's playing, playing football or whatever. I think, do you know what? Probably the most important thing is getting the players switched onto it and not having the passes cut out and making sure that if you've got a chance on the fucking goal line that you stick it in the back of the net and you didn't miss the ball.
I think if you look back to the first derby of the season, they were talking about they're kind of going to take 6 or 7 of us, and fair enough, they won it with the last kick of the ball, but we could have we could have had the game won by that point. Boyle's hit the bar, and we've had one offside, and all the rest of it. So, like, there's always a lot of talk going into games, but Hibs kind of let that get to them. And like that's the thing. If I was Gray, we'd be telling the players
Yeah,
just fucking focus on what we do and get stuck into them when it comes.
didn't let the
Anyway,
noise impact you. Believe in yourself, like you're all good players.
aye.
Just fucking show it.
We've played better teams than them and competed with them
Yeah.
this season already. So, right, we'll wrap up there. We'll be back with extra time tomorrow. Promises to be a good one as we have that conversation about the 3-5-2 and flexibility and the recruitment and all the stuff that comes with that. So if you want to listen to it, hit the wee join button on YouTube or head to our Patreon. If you have watched this on YouTube, please do hit like and leave us a wee comment. And that also does help us a lot too. If we didn't see you before, have a good Christmas. But we will see the subscribers before then. So take it easy and we'll catch you next time.